Right? I always say I act when they let me, because I don't have any control over whether you're going to pick me or not.
It's true.
So like I have a tremendous amount of respect for working actors that they are, and I don't judge any of them when they do a movie that ends up being bad.
Right.
Because it's like, A, you got to work, and B, there's also like you have so little control. Like what the little acting that I've done.
So many moving parts.
Well, the little acting I've done, what I realize is the words have to be there. You got to have the director, you got to have the editor, and you have to have the proper music and mood underneath it. And if all of that comes together, like they're gonna make you look unbelievable. And that would be Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad.
You were on the best show. In some ways,
all I had to do, dude, was know what they told me to say, and then stop where they told me to stop. Just hit my marks, and they made you look like an absolute.
Well, you know
I got
what?
more acting work because they were so good at their jobs over there.
Well, but you didn't. I didn't see you acting, and that was a big deal. Like one of the things
It's because I can't.
Well, but that's a hard thing to do, bro. That's a hard thing to do, because what you were doing was you were very real, and a lot of people can't do that. In fact, a lot of people go to school for a long time to do that. That's one of the things I noticed. I mean, I've seen every episode, and I think
I can equate that to comedy. I can give you the parallel. It's in comedy. Okay, what happens in acting? The little I know about it is you have to block out that you're acting.
Right.
Because what happens is when you start thinking, like what you're doing with your hands there is fucking interesting. Okay? But you're not even thinking about that you're doing that. So like when you go to do a scene, like, and if you're eating something, it becomes like, how do I eat this? And that's why, like, I hate watching actors eat, because they overact the act of eating. Like they start pointing with the bread and talking. Nick,
they've worked it out.
Yeah. So Nick Kroll did a hilarious short film that kind of touched on that, and I absolutely loved it. It was this gangster thing, and they just kept putting more and more food in their mouths as they were talking, and it was just complete. And they're threatening each other.
He's a silly goose, that guy.
Dude, he's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And like each the food became more exotic and ridiculous when it was, and I loved it. So I think that what you can do in like, and especially in comedy. Like if you're in like a comedy, there's like I saw something recently where there was a scene where a guy, he picked up a condom. He didn't realize it was a condom, and he picked it up, and then he went, ah, and then he threw it to his buddy, and then he caught it, and he caught the thing, and then looked at it like, ah, and he's looking at it going, ah, like you wouldn't do that in real life. First of all, the second somebody picks someone and goes, ah, and throws it at you, the comedy is you getting the fuck out of the way.
That's exactly right.
So, and that
like
plays,
it's a bumblebee coming to sting you.
That plays way real. So I would try to get the fuck out of the way, and then when it missed me, I would then punch the other guy in the shoulder. Well, don't fucking throw it at me. And that's like, in like,
you're reacting.
Because that to me is real comedy. Real comedy to me is watching something that if I was experiencing it, it wouldn't be funny.
Look at Jackie Gleason. Jackie Gleason was not trying to be comic. Jackie Gleason was reacting to a tragedy in his life. Everything was going to shit, and he was about to lose his fucking mind.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like he was joking. When he's saying, Alice, one of these days I'm right to the moon, he meant it. He's like, I want to fucking hit you so bad, but I can't do it.
Nuts. And
driving
you saw
him nuts.
Like, he would do those looks like, I
they
swear to God.
They called him the great one. They called him the great one because he was able to do that, and that's exactly right.
So here's the comedy analogy, because the big, like the holy grail that is like finding your voice. I got to find my voice. I need to have a fucking point of view. And my argument is, when you walk into a club for your first open mic, you already have your voice. And then you go on stage and you lose it because you're going on stage and it's this, before you did comedy, you were in bars and you were acting shit out and you were making your friends laugh and everything. You were 100% comfortable.
That's right.
You weren't worried about getting heckled or anything. So then now you go onto a comedy stage and all of a sudden there's a mic stand, there's lights on you. It's this completely artificial conversation. So then you go into this, now I am doing stand-up, and then your voice goes away. Yeah. And then you spend fucking 8, 10, 12, 16 years trying to get back to being the fucking guy that you were when you came in. And all it is just being comfortable like you were with your friends in the bar. And then your magical point of view, like, what do I think of things? It's like, well, what are you thinking? The amount of times I've been in a fucking green room and a comic will say something to me, and I'll be like, dude, that is fucking hilarious. You got to do that on stage. And then what do they go? Oh, that's not me. That's not what I do. It's like, dude, that is you.
That is you. You just did it. You just did it.
Presented the subject, you thought it, and you said it. That is you. That thing you're doing on stage is you doing.
I was just talking about
you doing stand-up.
I was just talking about this. I said, I don't even write. When I write, I don't even try to write funny. I just ask myself questions like, what am I ashamed of? Who am I pretending to be? Who do I wish I was?
What am I afraid of?
What am I afraid of? Those are the questions I ask. And then somehow the comedy finds its way through. And somebody said, I used Jeremy Piven in my last special. And he goes, don't you have to warm up? Because I was going to go out there. I go, don't you have to get your head together? I go, bro, I've been doing this long enough, so I just, whatever I'm feeling, I'm going to use.
Right.
I've never, you lose that after a while. That's kind of where you start to arrive at the notion that I think I'm more natural on stage in some ways than I am. If anything, I got to get my energy going because sometimes.
Right. No, because then you can go.
You get too comfortable. Too comfortable.
Yeah, you become you just eating some Raisin Bran.
Exactly. Too fucking lazy.